Revolutions are often romanticized as the triumph of the people over oppression. But beneath the surface of grand ideals and public fervor, hidden agendas and dark undercurrents can shape the course of history. The Iranian Revolution of 1979 is a prime example of how a popular uprising can be co-opted by forces with their own secret motives, leading to unforeseen and often dire consequences. To understand the hidden agenda behind the Iranian Revolution, we must first look at the historical context that set the stage for this momentous event. In the 1970s, Iran was ruled by Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the last Shah of Iran. The Shah had come to power with the support of Western nations, particularly the United States and the United Kingdom. Under his rule, Iran underwent rapid modernization and westernization, which brought both progress and tension to Iranian society. The Shah's regime was characterized by economic development, secularization, and close ties with the West. However, it was also marked by political repression, growing inequality, and cultural alienation among traditional and religious segments of society. The secret police, known as Savak, ruthlessly suppressed dissent, creating a climate of fear and resentment among the population. As discontent grew, various groups began to organize against the Shah's rule. On the surface, the revolution appeared to be a unified movement calling for democracy, freedom, and an end to foreign influence in Iran. The public face of the revolution was one of hope and liberation, with people from all walks of life coming together to demand change. However, beneath this veneer of unity lay a complex web of competing interests and hidden agendas. While many Iranians genuinely sought democratic reforms and greater autonomy from Western influence, other factions saw the revolution as an opportunity to advance their own ideological and political goals. One of the most significant hidden agendas was that of the Islamist faction led by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Khomeini, who had been exiled by the Shah, skillfully positioned himself as a unifying figure for the opposition. He promised a return to Islamic values and an end to what he called the Shah's corrupt and un-Islamic rule. However, Khomeini's true vision for Iran was far more radical than many of his supporters realized. Khomeini and his inner circle harbored plans for an Islamic theocracy that would dramatically reshape Iranian society and politics. This agenda was carefully concealed from many secular and moderate religious supporters of the revolution, who believed they were fighting for a more open and democratic Iran. Another hidden agenda came from leftist and communist groups within Iran. These factions saw the revolution as a chance to implement socialist reforms and align Iran with the Soviet bloc. They formed uneasy alliances with Islamist groups, hoping to use the momentum of the revolution to further their own goals once the Shah was overthrown. Foreign powers also played a role in shaping the hidden agenda of the revolution. The United States, long a supporter of the Shah, began to waver in its commitment as the uprising gained strength. Some elements within the US government believed that a controlled revolution could lead to a more stable Iran that would still align with Western interests. This miscalculation would have far-reaching consequences. The Soviet Union, sensing an opportunity to gain influence in a strategically important nation, provided support to leftist groups within Iran. Their agenda was to pull Iran away from the Western sphere of influence and into the communist orbit. As the revolution unfolded, these hidden agendas began to surface, leading to the dark sides of the uprising. One of the most immediate and shocking consequences was the wave of violence and retribution that followed the Shah's fall. Summary executions, often carried out after hasty revolutionary trials, claimed the lives of many former government officials, military officers, and perceived enemies of the revolution. The new regime, dominated by Khomeini's followers, quickly moved to consolidate power. The promised democracy gave way to an authoritarian Islamic republic, with power concentrated in the hands of religious leaders. The concept of velayat-e-faqih, or guardianship of the Islamic jurist, became the cornerstone of the new political system, effectively creating a theocracy. Women's rights, which had seen some advancements under the Shah's rule, were severely curtailed. the new regime imposed strict Islamic dress codes and restricted women's participation in various aspects of public life. This was a stark contrast to the active role women had played in the revolution itself. Religious and ethnic minorities who had hoped for greater freedoms found themselves marginalized or persecuted. The Baha'i community, in particular, faced severe repression, with many members imprisoned or executed. The education system was overhauled to align with the new regime's ideology, leading to a purge of academics and a rewriting of curricula. This ideological control extended to the arts, media, and all aspects of cultural life, stifling free expression and intellectual discourse. Economically, the revolution led to a period of instability and isolation. Western-educated professionals and members of the business elite fled the country, resulting in a significant brain drain. International sanctions, particularly from the United States, further strained Iran's economy. One of the most consequential dark turns of the revolution was the hostage crisis at the US Embassy in Tehran. What began as a student protest spiraled into a 444-day ordeal that would poison Iran's relations with the West for decades to come. This event, while boosting the revolutionary regime's anti-Western credentials at home, led to Iran's international isolation and economic hardship. The Iran-Iraq War, which began in 1980, further exposed the dark underbelly of the revolution. The conflict, which lasted 8 years and claimed hundreds of thousands of lives, was used by the regime to solidify its power and suppress dissent under the guise of national unity. As the dust settled and the new order took shape, it became clear who the real beneficiaries of the revolution were. The clerical establishment, led by Khomeini and his successors, emerged as the dominant force in Iranian politics and society. The Revolutionary Guards, originally formed to protect the revolution, grew into a powerful military and economic entity, controlling significant portions of Iran's economy. Conservative merchants and bazaris, who had supported the Islamist faction, found their economic interests protected and enhanced under the new regime. They formed a crucial support base for the Islamic Republic, benefiting from its economic policies and patronage networks. Paradoxically, some of the Shah's former elites who managed to align themselves with the new power structure also benefited, using their expertise and connections to navigate the post-revolutionary landscape. On the international stage, the revolution created opportunities for countries seeking to challenge Western, particularly American, influence in the Middle East. Russia and China, for instance, found in Iran a valuable ally and market for their military and civilian technologies. The legacy of the Iranian Revolution's hidden agenda and dark sides continues to shape Iran and the broader Middle East today. Internally, Iran remains a nation divided, with a significant portion of its population, especially the younger generation, chafing under the restrictions imposed by the Islamic Republic. Periodic protests and calls for reform are testament to the unresolved tensions stemming from the revolution's unfulfilled promises. The regime's pursuit of nuclear technology, which it claims is for peaceful purposes, has led to ongoing conflicts with the international community. This pursuit can be seen as an extension of the revolution's goal of asserting Iran's independence and regional power status. Iran's support for various militant groups across the Middle East, including Hezbollah in Lebanon and Houthi rebels in Yemen, is another manifestation of the revolution's legacy. These actions, framed by the regime as exporting the revolution and supporting the oppressed, have contributed to regional instability and conflict. The Iranian diaspora, largely composed of those who fled the country during and after the revolution, has created influential communities around the world. These communities often serve as vocal critics of the regime and advocates for change in Iran, keeping alive the debate about the revolution's true goals and outcomes. Economically, Iran continues to grapple with the consequences of its post-revolutionary policies. Sanctions, economic mismanagement, and isolation from global financial systems have stunted the country's economic potential, leading to high unemployment, inflation, and widespread frustration among the population. The revolution's impact on women's rights remains a contentious issue. While women in Iran have made strides in education and some professional fields, they continue to face legal and social discrimination. The mandatory hijab, a powerful symbol of the revolution's Islamization agenda, remains a flashpoint for protests and debates about personal freedom. In the realm of geopolitics, the Iranian Revolution marked a turning point in Middle Eastern affairs. It transformed Iran from a key US ally into one of its most ardent adversaries, reshaping alliances and conflicts in the region. The ongoing tensions between Iran and Saudi Arabia, for instance, can be traced back to the ideological and political shifts brought about by the revolution. The revolution also had a profound impact on political Islam worldwide. It demonstrated the potential for Islamist movements to challenge established orders, inspiring similar movements across the Muslim world. However, it also served as a cautionary tale about the potential consequences of theocratic rule. As we reflect on the Iranian Revolution more than 4 decades later, it serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities and unintended consequences of radical political change. What began as a popular uprising against an authoritarian monarchy fueled by diverse hopes and aspirations resulted in the establishment of a different form of authoritarianism. The hidden agendas that lurked beneath the surface of the revolution, whether they were the Islamist vision of a theocratic state, the leftist dream of a socialist utopia, or foreign powers' geopolitical calculations, all contributed to shaping an outcome that few had fully anticipated. The dark sides of the revolution, the violence, repression, and social restrictions cast long shadows over Iranian society, creating new forms of oppression even as they dismantled old ones. The real beneficiaries, the clerical establishment, the revolutionary guards, and certain economic elites, consolidated power in ways that often betrayed the revolutionary ideals of justice and freedom. Yet, the story of the Iranian Revolution and its aftermath is not simply one of triumph for these beneficiaries. It is also a story of resilience and ongoing struggle. Many Iranians continue to aspire to the unfulfilled promises of the revolution: true political freedom, social justice, and national dignity on the global stage. As we consider the lessons of the Iranian Revolution, we are reminded that revolutions are complex phenomena, often driven by a mixture of noble ideals and hidden agendas. The overthrow of an old order does not guarantee the establishment of a better one. The forces that come to power in the wake of a revolution may not be those that best represent the hopes and dreams of those who fought for change. Moreover, the Iranian experience underscores the importance of understanding the diverse factions and interests at play in any major political upheaval. It highlights the potential for radical movements to co-opt broader coalitions, and the ways in which the chaos of revolutionary change can provide opportunities for the most organized and determined groups to seize control. In the end, the Iranian Revolution stands as a powerful historical example of how the road to profound social and political change is often fraught with unexpected turns and hidden pitfalls. It reminds us to look beyond the surface of political movements and to consider the complex interplay of ideologies, interests, and power dynamics that shape historical events. As Iran continues to evolve, and as new generations grapple with the legacy of 1979, the full story of the revolution's hidden agendas, dark sides, and real beneficiaries continues to unfold. It remains a subject of intense debate, scholarship, and soul-searching, not just for Iranians, but for all those seeking to understand the intricate processes of political change and their long-term consequences.